Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Inked Reader. Today in England we are literally melting. There is a heat wave, so apologies because I'm sweaty. There's no way of cooling off basically. It's not even particularly sunny, it's just bloody hot. And let's say that here in England we are not equipped for this kind of weather. It's not what happens usually in England. We don't get this hot. And yeah, anyway, I'm trying to cope with it, but I wanted today to put up a video that I had already done a couple of years back or something of the sort and put on my channel, but back then I didn't have my camera, so it was poor quality, and in general I think I finished a couple of more of them, so I wanted to kind of do an update, new version of it. And these are the graphic novels and manga series that are completed, but that I have also completed. So there are plenty of series out there that have either just started or in the middle of but not finished, and those are not included in this video. These are just the ones that are all out and I have been through all the volumes that there are. And so yeah, it's not gonna be in any particular order, although I'm gonna share with you why I love them so much, but it's not a list, it's not a tier ranking stuff in that sense. I might do a tier ranking. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that, but as of now I just want to mention the ones that I've collected them all, and because they're expensive, only the fact that I've collected them all the volumes, it means that I love them basically, and I thought it was worth the money. I have some of the series have all volumes here, but some I will just show you one-off volume just because they were too big maybe to show. Because actually these are not my only bookshelves, especially my manga and graphic novels are mostly in other parts of the house or in the middle. So let me start with actually honorable mention. This is technically not finished, but it's also technically finished because we don't know if we'll ever get another volume, so I've considered this as being finished. Well, there is a cover over there because in case the author either decides to put up more, and that is Shoujo. My probably favorite Shoujo among my favorite is definitely Nana. I'm holding up just 3 volumes here. This is a contemporary story about these two girls. They're both called Nana. They meet on a train to Tokyo and they are both looking to make their fortune in the big city. One is a very naive, kind soul. The other one is a bit more hardened by life, and she wants it to make as a singer, especially after her boyfriend left her to go to Tokyo, became a famous singer. These are very popular, both anime and manga series, for good reason. I'll show you some of the art. These series, the fact that it's incomplete, it's actually one of the bane of my existence, because every time I pass down the corridor, see the series and just think, damn you girl, why didn't you finish it? I know she was very sick, but at the same time I wished we had an ending for this because of what happens in the end. It broke me, this series, and it's my first actually contemporary manga series that I could not put down. I went to the library one day, found the first volumes and then started collecting them for myself. I need actually to purchase the first 10 volumes because I've collected the other half of the series, and then just the drama. He says, like, you know, the real drama begins in Nana, and it's true. It's not a very fluffy series though, it's full of actually content warning in these, and I would say that it's more for older, younger adult, but Nana, it's a famous for a reason, and I've been loving Nana, and I'll be waiting if ever there is another volume out, but as of now I consider it as finished. Shall we do the manga first? I'll do the manga first, okay? So then it gives you a bit more, I can tap it. One that's not here because I actually got the box set. This is Vampire Nights. This is the only series that I actually went, watched the anime and then run and purchased the manga. Reason being because the anime covers just the first half of the series, so I wanted to know how it finished, and I'm so glad I did. I still need to get my hands on the first box set or the first part of the series, but I will one day. Absolutely love this. It's a kind of academy shoujo manga with like vampires in it, and it's kind of a like love triangle if I remember correctly, but not really. It's a bit more complex than that, and because I love vampires and I love the kind of idea of an academic setting with creatures in it, I absolutely ended up loving this. The anime was really good, but it doesn't take you throughout all the story, so I would just read just the manga, to be fair, and maybe watch the anime, but just, you're not gonna get the other half. Then definitely a series that absolutely I loved was Dawn of the Arcana. I'm just holding up 3 of the volumes here. This guy is Crush for Life. I literally love this guy, and just I love him. This is a fantasy soldier manga, and as you can see, there's a theme. Apart from Nana, mostly have some fantasy element when it comes to soldier for me to enjoy them. But this is the story of this girl. She is married off to him, and she of course doesn't like him, doesn't want to be with him, and she has a bodyguard that they grew up together, and basically it's her being married to this guy and trying to get along with him while trying to maintain the peace, because that's the reason why they were married to begin with, you know, to fighting kingdom, trying to reach peace through this marriage. And there is action, there is love, and it's just so good. Show you some of the art. I absolutely loved it. I would love to see this as an anime. It's just a 13 volume series, I believe, so it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't take too long. This was just very much my cup of tea. And yes, there is an element of love triangle, I imagine, but the way this develops, the relationship in these, I absolutely loved it. And then getting out of the soldier bit, so I have 2 very famous series, and I have to say that as of lately I've got back to read manga because I had paused for like years. So these are series I both completed at least 2 years ago, and then I found out that I was in the middle of a million series, but I have completed, actually I don't have that many, so that's why there are no more manga series. But I'm reading way more this year. I'm reading a lot of manga and graphic novels, especially manga though. So they're gonna be more complete. So first of all, very famous Death Note. This is the first manga I've actually purchased as an adult in this beautiful version because I wanted to collect them. So I've got the black editions. And this is extremely popular. So I honestly don't think I need to tell you what Death Note is, right? I don't think I have to. Like, it's Death Note. I have to say, and this may be unpopular, I love the series throughout, but I didn't love the ending. And that's why, unfortunately, I think I'm someone who gives a lot of weight to the end. And I know that it's not for everybody, so although I might enjoy throughout the journey, if the end is a bit iffy, as I thought it was in this case, I kind of tend to forget, in a sense, or put aside the whole series, which is a mistake because I shouldn't forget all the journey that I've been through. And I will reread Death Note, and hopefully maybe upon rereading I will hate the ending a bit less. But that's why I think I didn't think about this series for years now, and I refuse to watch the anime. I know, don't come for me, I will watch the anime sooner or later, but because of the ending I was like, nah, I don't really want to relive that. Yes, I just really didn't like the ending, unfortunately. But since I know myself, I need to sit down and realize that the journey itself was brilliant. I mean, it's Death Note for a reason. And finally, a series that actually I did love ending, it was all fine throughout, was Full Metal Alchemist. I collected them with these series, and to be fair, I kind of regret it now because I've seen the new bind up editions, the new covers, and I love them so much. But I can't justify me paying again for this whole series because it was pretty expensive to begin with, so I'm not gonna purchase them in that edition, but my heart cries a bit. They're still lovely, they're still absolutely lovely. There's a bind up of 3 volumes. I'm still very happy how they look on my shelves, but those new covers, if you have to start Full Metal Alchemist, go for those. I absolutely love them. And these, again, it's Full Metal Alchemist, right? So I don't need to give you a synopsis, I guess. I think in this case, this was something that I didn't know, basically, getting to this, if this was my cup of tea. And it was very much something that I don't usually love that much in terms of, I thought it was about robots and stuff. It's really not, it's mostly a fantasy. But I think what I stayed and I loved so much is just the bonds between the characters and just these characters. And it also made the overall plot was very, very interesting. So I was very hesitant getting into the first volume, and then I got in and I was like, you know what, I'm sold. I don't like to watch the anime of a manga I've already read, especially if it's identical. I don't know why. I just don't love it. but if the anime is very different or in certain occasions. These are all the manga that I cherish particularly, that I finished, but as I said, I'm reading way more manga now, so there's gonna be an update on this video hopefully soon. And now we are going to the graphic novel. So let me start with an honorable mention, because I think between all of these series that I'm about to show you, this is the one that I did enjoy a lot, but it wasn't to the level of all the others I'm about to show you. But still, I collected it all and I'm very happy, and I still overall loved it. I did watch even the TV show adaptation that it was, and I didn't mind it, but I never continued on because I don't know. And this is iZombie. I'm going to show you because the series is just 5 volumes in total, so I can show you all of them. It's actually 4 volumes. Can I count? How cool is this? I mean, come on. I think this is actually volume number 1. I didn't show them in order. Okay, don't come for me. It's okay. This is the story of this girl. She wakes up one day and she's a zombie. She has to survive. She has to hide the fact that she's a zombie from her loved ones. And I really enjoyed this overall. Don't take this as I enjoyed this a bit less than other series, meaning that it's not good. It's amazing. It's an amazing series. Let me show you some of the art. I'll just try like page number 1 or 2 so I don't spoil anything. Or the first volume. So yeah, this was hilarious. It was just a good time with very nice graphics. I'm not too much into zombies. I don't know why I reached out for this, but I'm very happy that I did. It was a short series, so I basically read this whole in a month or so. And it was just a delight, with just funny, a bit of grossness in it, an interesting plot, some characters that I grew up attached to. It was just a good time. It was just a good time. And actually another one that I enjoyed throughout. I really enjoyed the topic and the discussion that this brought forward for me, but in terms of enjoyment it would probably be slightly less than the other ones I'm about to show. Sorry, I know I keep saying this. And this was Why the Last Man. I actually finished this series this year. This is a total of 5 volumes in this bind up edition. This is a story of basically this virus that kills all male mammals on Earth apart from Yorick and his pet monkey. And he's now been a few months of the beginning of the first volume since the pandemic hit, and you just basically follow our whole world has gone to shit in a sense, but in another sense how you follow how women have basically taken control of everything, and now women are now trying to survive because without men they can't procreate, and so humanity is about to die unless they can find a man. And it's just a very intricate story in a sense, so there is an element of, you know, women that wants to get hold of him, where the family is the only man alive, if him trying to find his girlfriend that were separated when the pandemic hit, and about, you know, some group of women trying to protect him, go along this journey with him. So you follow many subplots, but I think what was very good is the discussions that this brought forward. I have to say that the end was satisfying only to certain degrees, because many things were not explained, and one character, their end, I'm just gonna say that not to give any spoiler, their end I thought needed way more explanations. If, you know, the authors wanted to end it that way with this character, they should have given us way more explanations. Instead it was very rushed, and it was a bit of a pity because it's a character that we've been following throughout the story. But I really enjoyed the concept, especially because, again, pandemics and this sort of post-apocalyptic stuff are not my cup of tea. I don't really like them, so it's very weird that I actually continued on and finished the series. I consider this a testament of how good the series was for me overall. And thinking about actually amazing series of a genre that's not mine is Sweet Tooth. So Sweet Tooth is again a dystopian where after this virus, every child who's born after is born as an animal. And this also had 2 things going on for me. When I first opened the pages, I didn't love the art, and the idea that this was a dystopian didn't appeal to me. However, when I came across these in a bookstore and I saw how gorgeous these 3 volumes are, just 3 volumes of these editions that are out, where I just decided to give it a try, and boy did I not regret that. I loved Sweet Tooth. I thought it was very hard to read at times because it's very harrowing what's happening. It's very brutal, it's very grim dark in a sense. If it was a fantasy, I would consider this a grim dark fantasy. It's a very dark dystopian, but the plot, the characters were just so bloody well. So like, it was just a nicely put together story that were just a stunning edition. And even the art, I actually thought at the end that it fit the story perfectly. So it just all came together, and I absolutely loved Sweet Tooth. Love Sweet Tooth. A series that I'm actually holding a random volume, Revival. So Revival, it's I think 8 volumes in total. I own them all, and this is volume 7. So I think, yeah, second to last. Show you some of the art. Try not to spoil anything. So this is the art. Okay, so this is a series that was all over BookTube when I first joined years back, and it's one of the first graphic novel series that I actually ended up loving and following throughout. This is a very weird one to describe. It's not really a dystopian, it's like a paranormal story in a sense. It's the story of basically this small town in USA where one day, only one day, all the people that died that day came back to life. And you follow the aftermath of that one day where the living and the dead have to now come up with a solution to live together. And the weird thing is that apparently these, people that came back to life are perfectly normal. Yet, are they? And that's the big question. And it's a very fucked up series in a sense. And I remember that I wanted to know what was happening. This is definitely adult series, so it's full of content, mature content, and it's a series that I am actually eager to reread pretty soon potentially, because I forgot parts of the plot, but this was amazing. This is a series that to these days, even if I forgot some part of the plot, it's still one that I remember loving it so much. I remember being so in awe of the whole plot that was crafted through this, that I was just like, Revival, man. Revival is good, and if you have not picked it up, it's an old series but so worth of your time. Another old but gold is Nailbiter, and again I'm holding up volume 6. I think it's the last volume actually in the series, so it's a 6-volume series, and this is a crime, let's just put it as a crime novel. There are some surprises inside. This is the story of this town where apparently more than statistically probable number of serial killers were born, and then you follow some detective, if I remember correctly, were detectives trying to find out what happened to other detectives that have been to this town before and disappeared, by trying just to find out why the town has such like high numbers of serial killers to be born there. But let me show you some of the art without spoiler anything. I loved Nailbiter. Back in the days, I just started forensic psychology degree, and I was all into crime and stuff like that, and this is gory, this is full of twists and turns, and it's disturbing, and it's exactly what I was looking for. Again, very mature content, so be aware of that. Lock and Key. Lock and Key is a very famous series by the son of Stephen King. I think I've read some of his books, and I like his books, but this is definitely his masterpiece, especially this edition. So it's just 3 volumes of Lock and Key in this edition, and there is a famous Netflix adaptation of the series. This is the story of his family. They move into a house they inherited from somebody after they lose their dad. The thing in this house is that there are keys around that open hidden doors, and when you go through these doors you acquire powers. It's definitely a crime fantasy, horror-ish fantasy. I would say probably horror-ish fantasy, and that's why probably I love it. I do love horror in my graphic novels, manga, or books in a sense. So it was definitely my cup of tea, united with stunning art that depict, like, the characters were so freaking disturbing. Look at the eyes. Like, I was honestly generally disturbed. It's just a fascinating plot. Like, it is this house, these magic doors. It was just the best, and I absolutely love this. It's such a like short story at the same time. It's so good. Lock and Key. It's famous for a reason, as I always say. So the last 2 series. These are the series that they are both having a comic element to it. Overall, they are like humoristic throughout. And somehow these are the series, these 2 series that just made me love graphic novels, as the others I just mentioned, but this whole genre of having fantasy with humor and an absurd plot, it was just perfection. Like, I don't think I will ever find something that can topple these two series. I can find something that is up to that standard, but I doubt that I'm gonna encounter something that's better. I can say, oh, I can sit down and just say, oh, this was way better. To be fair, this is valid for the majority of the series I've already told you or showed you a second ago. I think they were the creme of the creme, like, you know, the top. So let's start with the most recent one of the two, which was I Hate Fairyland. I know this is not for everybody, because it's like you follow this kid who is stuck in fairyland. She made a wish, and as a result of that she can go to fairyland for one day. This happens to all the children. However, by the end of that dream of that day, they usually find a key and go back to their normal world. Now Jared, is her name Jared? Yes, I think. She can't find the key, so she is stuck in fairyland forever, and she has been there for now 20 years, something of the sort, when you start the story. She's still in the body of a girl, but she's actually a very bitter middle-aged woman by the time you start the story in this body of this girl, and she is gonna spread mayhem, kill off all the pretty fairies in order to get to the bloody key. Now this, I don't know, I've got an attachment to this series that I can't explain, I can't put into words. I love this so much. I honestly didn't even care about the plot itself, like each panel, each interaction of these characters, each like funny character, or like this guy, just I was having like the best time of my life. Is not for everybody. I recognize that you do need to read to enjoy these kind of comics, but if you do, you can't miss that. And I need to pick up more by Scott Young. I think he did other series. 100% I will. And finally, this is one of the first graphic novel series I've ever read as an adult, and I'm holding a random volume, but this is Chew. Chew has not the best ending, I have to say, but I grew attached so much to the characters that I really didn't mind. It's one of the rarity where I honestly didn't even care that much about the ending, as long as I could stay with the characters as long as possible. I think it's a total of 12 volumes, and this is the story of a psychopath. So basically Chu works for a special section of the CIA or FBI, and basically can taste anything and can see the story of that thing that's tasted. So if you taste a piece of human flesh, it can tell you how that person lived and died. So that's very useful, but disgusting when it comes down to be a detective. And in this world, chicken has been banned, and so there is a whole system about people trying to smuggle, smuggling and, you know, illegal consumption of chicken. It's a crazy plot. When I went in, I was like, how is this working? And it works bloody perfectly because of the art, because of how absurd, this is just absurd. Like, I would not describe this in any other way apart from saying, I'm trying to find something that can show you, apart from saying this is absolutely nuts. Like, this is a nuts series. To these days, I've never found something that was so bloody weird, and then at the same time made a lot of sense. They came up with an absurd story and they just made the best out of it. They made it realistic, they made a world that somehow made sense, they made absolutely hilarious characters that actually going through high stakes situations, and it was just the best. Chew, to be fair, yes, it's an oldish series, it's not ongoing anymore, it finished probably a couple of years ago, if not more. But if you've not picked up Chew and you like graphic novels, what are you doing? Like, what you're doing is Chew. Like, I've never met someone on earth who have read Chew and hated it. No one on earth. So that's saying something, I guess, I hope. That was it, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know what are your favorite graphic novel series that you've completed, because I need to, well, start a new series. Why not, you know? Why not? I got a million already in the middle of, but I'm always open to new series. And yeah. Let's chat in the comments down below. If you're new, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. down below. Have a good day, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!